Happy New Year, everyone. January 1, 2022. I can't believe it. I thought I'd go on live. I have nothing prepared but what's in my mind to help you prepare for this year. And I'm going to share with you some of my tips and tricks that I've personally am using to be intentional about my new year and hope this will help you. I just did a recording with Dr. Arlen Myers. He's the founder and CEO of SOPE, which is the Society of Physician Entrepreneurs. And his story is that he was able to bring a medical device after multiple failures into a market and got rewarded for that. But he got so angry because he feels that physicians are left out in the dark. We don't get taught these things, and it should be part of medical education. And he is on a roll, and I want to join him, and I hope maybe you guys want to reach out to him and join him too, is to create environments in medical school and residencies so that all physicians have the opportunity to be able to thrive in this way. We have so many great ideas, but we don't take it to market, we don't take it to fruition because we don't know how. And it's not our fault, but it's just the whole system is so outdated now. We are so geared to memorize and learn and spit out things, and that's how we get rewarded. And then we go into the workforce and we don't know how to implement. We don't know how to create new things. We don't know how to bring an idea to help solve a problem when really it should be. And what's happening is non-physicians are doing that, and they're taking our ideas. How many times do I have medical device person coming into my office asking me for my advice? And maybe you get paid $400 or something for that short time that they get your idea, but then they take it to market. Right? Does that make any sense? Instead, it should be we are in the forefront. We have all the ideas. We know how to make it better. We're the ones who should be the ones in the forefront. So I love that. Anyway, so so what I want to talk about is how can you start your year right so that you're really making a difference in your results. If you're looking at your results right now, the first thing that I'm going to do today, and I invite you to do that, is get a piece of paper, get a diary, get maybe on your computer if you like to do it that way, is write a list. Start by writing a list of the top 5 to 10 things that you feel like you really accomplished this year that you're really proud of. Okay. So I'll write down, 5 to 10 things that I think that really went well this year. This year for me was the first year that I was CMO of this startup vascular company, and I'm very proud of some of the things that I've done. So I'm going to write down those things, 5 to 10 things that I think that I really accomplished well. Then on the flip side of it is, what are the 5 to 10 things that you feel like there's some room to grow, that maybe you didn't do as well? And, for me with the whole pandemic and I'm sure for many of you too, is that setting that boundary of when am I going to, when does work end? And when does it begin? Because I don't know about you, but when I go home, I'm still at work, right? Because I have computer, we have the internet, and people are saying, "Well, we'll just set a phone call for 7 o'clock p.m." Like, who has a phone call at 7 p.m.? That's what's happening now. So people are getting burned out very easily, and I understand that, and I feel that too. So those are by understanding what are the things that didn't go right, to set the intention for next year on how you want it to go. So what are the things that you are unhappy about this year? Maybe your finances. Some people told me that they didn't make much money this year as they did the year before or 2 years past because of the pandemic, and that worries you. Okay, so remember, and Warren Buffett says this, that times, when there's times of change and people get scared, there's always times for opportunity. So when you write all these things down, I'm going to talk to you about what do we do for this year. Okay, so after you write that down, also write down, okay, for the present moment. So we're talking about the past, now we're talking about the present. For the present moment, what are the things that you are really grateful about in your life? And be really aware of that, because when you're really aware about who you are and where you're at and what's going on around you and what you have, then it gives you strength and it gives you purpose. It gives you the groundwork to set for what am I going to accomplish for next year, and this is what I have already. So for me, I'm very grateful for the family that I have, including my in-laws and my parents that are alive and well. They're aging parents. So thank God we were able to go to see them. We have my parents over for Christmas, and my children and my daughter getting into Parsons School of Design early action. I'm so grateful for that. Grateful for my own health, the house that I live in, the new car that I got. I'm grateful for the fact that we got to go on vacation during COVID. Um, what are your things? What are you grateful for? We have so much that sometimes we forget about it. What are we grateful for? And I would even say, which has helped me, is and getting to the habit of it, is writing a gratitude journal. Again, that sets the groundwork for your day. It sets the groundwork for how you want to see your life going and how you want more of that in your life. So awareness is so key to setting the intention for the next year, for this year. I keep saying next year, but we're already there. Okay. So it's January 1st. So what are we going to do for this year? Um, and what do leaders do? What do leaders do? What do great leaders do to see that you're successful? And success comes in many different forms. And when I talk about success, it's not just about monetary success, right? We talk about monetary success because it's easy to measure money, but money for most people and most of us is not the ultimate goal. Yes, money is important, and I like to talk about money because there's a lot of misconceptions and a lot of especially, I think, physicians, we are very skeptical sometimes of people trying to reach out to us, and we don't understand a lot of things about money. So that's a whole nother story. But there's money really is a result of something that you're doing when you're bringing value to somebody. So when you're setting your intentions and you want to have better results, what is it that you want? So write down on your list 5 to 10 things. These are the things that I want to accomplish this year, given where I am right now. And I'm grateful for the things that I have. I know what I accomplished last year, but these are the things going forward that I want to see happen. And whether it's in your personal life or your professional life, this is so important. Okay. You can even put two different charts, one column for your personal life and one column for your professional life. So for me, for personal life, I want to make sure that I'm grateful for my children, my family, but I want to spend more time with them. I want to be more intentional about uh, having more fun with my kids when they're home with me. My son actually is home, which is very remarkable, from college this semester because he's doing an internship. So how can I take advantage of this time when he's going to go back to college next year? That's an intention. My family time, my personal health. I want to be in better health. Or do you want to be in better health than you are now? Have you been exercising and taking care of your diet and your mind? Your mind. For me, I want to take care of my mind as much as I take care of my body. And in order for you to thrive as a leader, we want to set that intention. So write it. When you write it down, things start happening. They're twice as likely to happen. Okay. So this is kind of what I have people do in my course. We don't actually just talk about all the career goals, because if you want to thrive as a leader in business or in your finances or in your investments or your side gig, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, we need to take care of ourselves first. I feel like women, especially, they're always taking care of everyone else as moms, wives, as, daughters, we're always trying so hard to make sure they're taken care of that we often forget about ourselves. And so then we look back in the last 10 years when our kids are going to college, and I'm at that age when I'm so much more aware of that. And I want to tell people who are earlier in their career who, maybe you have infants or toddlers, to not wait until they're in college to think about this. So I wish somebody told me that. And think about, when you set your intention for this year, what are the things that you're going to do to take care of you so that you could take care of others better? So you could be more productive, so you could be happier, so you could be less burned out and overwhelmed. Okay. So 5 to 10 things that you want to have in your personal life. I want to have more time with my husband, my kids. I want to be able to go on vacation. I want to. What do you want to do? Do you want to have more time to just have fun? Maybe you want to write that book that you wanted to do. Maybe you just want to have time to just meditate and do yoga. Maybe you want to join a gym. Maybe you want to run a 5K. My sister asked me to run a 5K, and I used to run a lot of half marathons. I've run a dozen half marathons. I run a full marathon when I was 41, but that all just went downhill. So I'm thinking, I told her I would verbally. I need to follow through with that. So I need to put that on my calendar because I know that's going to push me to be in good health and physically. All right. Mentally, running, I don't know about you, but what helps you get mental clarity? For me, I noticed that when I run, my mind is so much better too. So be really aware of what it is that's going to help you thrive in the personal realm. Okay. Then in the professional side, what are the top things that you want to accomplish this year? Is it related to your job, your current job? Maybe you want a new job. Maybe you're looking at your current job and you want to stay with where you are, but you want it to be better because there's always things that we can improve. And when I hear physicians say to me, "Well, you know what? I've accomplished all that I can accomplish. I've done everything that I could do. Um, I am at the pinnacle of my career, and yet this person I'm speaking to probably is in their late 30s." And I would challenge because things are always changing. The environment is always going to change no matter where you are in your career. So you always need to keep in mind that a changing environment means that you need to have a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. There's a great book um, about the growth mindset. It's called Mindset by Dweck. So I would challenge you to change that thinking instead of saying achieved all that I achieved, and instead of saying, I know there's more. I know there's more that I can do and I know times are changing, healthcare is rapidly changing, technology is changing, and I'm going to change with it. And I want to make more of an impact. I'm going to improve upon what I'm doing so that I continue to thrive. And some of you tell me that, you know what, I feel like I can't find out what it is that I'm really supposed to be doing. And I know this is not it. I just don't know what it is. And that's where you need to be intentional about seeking what it is that I'm my purpose here on earth in this lifetime. What am I supposed to be doing? So on this chart, you're going to write down all the things that you want to accomplish, and maybe it is that I want to seek what it is I'm really meant to be doing. Okay, because that starts a whole nother discussion about how do you do that? How do you find what it is that you're meant to do? And so if it's that, for me, I want to open my own surgical center. I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do at first because as CMO, I travel a lot and I go to different centers and I help other physicians thrive in their own centers. Okay. And So now for you is how do you really, you need to really think about it. You need some downtime to think about it. And today's a great day. If you're off, take the time to write these things down. I want to create a culture, and I joined the Culture Fix Academy because I want to create a culture of a great culture to work in, so that people don't want to leave. They want to stay with the company. They find that there is a purpose, and they want to work up and beyond their call of duty. So, um, what is it that you want to do? Put in the comments so I can see. What do you want to accomplish this year that you haven't accomplished so far? And maybe you just want to decrease the overwhelm. Maybe you just want to just have an easier work life integration. And maybe you want to set boundaries. Okay, that's something I'm working on too. Is how do I make sure that I am giving myself a break? How do I make sure that I'm doing things that I'm intentionally about? How do you do that? You write it down. Okay. So write down the list. And then once you have your list together, we're going to start writing goals. Okay. Your top 3 goals. I would say only choose 1 or 2, because when you choose these goals, you're going to if you have too many goals, you're going to be all over the place. You're going to think about this and that, and you're not going to be focused. So I would say 1 personal and 1 professional goal. And people who write this down, and I would even challenge you to buy a vision board. One of my clients, actually more than one of my clients, have gotten vision boards, and they cut out pictures from the internet or from magazines, and they put it on there, and they have it in an area where they're always seeing it every single day. One person has it in their bathroom. One person has it on the wall next to the door when they're exiting their house. They see it. So you're going to write these goals down in a way, and this sounds really weird, but in a way that it's already happened. In a way that's already happened. So you're going to write down, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am, whatever it is that you want to do, that I am living my life without, and you have to write it in a positive way. Instead of saying a double negative to make it positive. So instead of saying I'm free of overwhelm, you saying I'm living a life of ease and calm, because your mind is so crucial to you being able to get what you want. And when your mind sees subconsciously overwhelm, it tags onto overwhelm and not the calm. So I'm free from overwhelm doesn't work. You're going to write a life that's full of happiness and peace. Okay. So so write this down, start your own vision board. There's so much out there on YouTube. You can Google it on vision boards, and buy something on Amazon and create something like that. That's a great way to start your year of what you want to create. And then when you have a great goal, and if you don't know what that goal is yet, at least start somewhere with something that you do know, maybe in your personal life that you want to create. In your professional life, maybe it's that I want to, that your goal is to be able to move into a leadership position. So already state that I'm so happy and grateful that I have that leadership position. Okay, so let me tell you a story about a client that I had, and I'm going to name her Julie. Okay, just to keep it anonymous. Julie was a early career physician. She is early career physician, and 2 years outside of her training, what happened was she was offered a leadership position to be medical director of a practice. And she was so excited about it. She wasn't sure she wanted to do it because working in the hospital gave her the ability to, have very, familiar things that she's used to doing because of her training. Everything was in the hospital. But this is all outpatient and is private practice. It's not academic. It's very, very different. And so she didn't understand. It took her a while to even join the practice because the person told her, "Oh, you're going to get equity, you're going to get profit sharing, you're going to have." She didn't know what that meant, right? Which is understandable because we don't learn what these terms mean. Equity means that you actually own like stocks or shares in the company. So when it grows, your stocks grow with it. And profit sharing is just that, if you make a certain amount of revenue minus the expenses, the EBITDA, which is, before the taxes and the depreciation, whatever the net gain is, you're going to get a percentage of that. And that's profit sharing. And that's different from equity. And so she didn't understand that, but it took her a long time to understand that if I have equity, that means that in the future, when I leave the practice, I'm going to be able to have, just like when you're selling your shares in the stock market, and if it grows, then, there's a chance that I might be able to have a big exit, a gain. So it took her a long time to understand that. And that's understandable. But there's a lot of fear that physicians have. So we have to think without fear. We have to think about, okay, taking risk. What else can I do? So she learned that. She learned that, and so she took a step forward. She took a chance, and she was really scared. And so what she did was she started this practice. She was the only doctor in this practice. It's a company, and so she brought on. She had to interview staff, and some of the staff came in being interviewed by the organization, but she interviewed people to start with her in the company. And then day one, there were no patients, which is fine. That's understandable. But after a month, there were only 15 patients for that entire month. So she started getting worried. So she called up somebody, her mentor, and she was very fearful about that. And that person said, "It'll come. Don't worry about it. It'll come." So meanwhile, her practice starts growing because she has really good skill. She's, patients really like her. She's really good with patients. So the practice starts growing and growing, growing. She has more staff, but she can't keep her staff. So her problem was, I can't keep my staff. They don't stay with me. Um, I try, she was really, really scared, she said, when she started because she didn't know how to lead a staff. I mean, she only knew what she knew from residency and fellowship, but she did the only thing that she knew how, which is, I'm the expert, you're the nurse, you're the office manager, you're the secretary, you do what I say. I am the boss, you follow me. So she started giving commands and expecting, and came up with, she had this, and it was subconscious. It's not like she did it intentionally. She was a really good person. She just, she told me I just one time she said, one time I told a nurse to get over here right now to this room, to this procedure room. I need you now. She intercomed the nurse. The nurse was all flustered and upset. You could tell she didn't know why. And the nurse came in, and they used to be friends. They used to like go out and have fun. But then after that, she turned cold on her, and she stopped working for her actually. And things like that kept happening where she didn't understand why people reacted that way. Um, One person she saw was in tears after she said something, and she didn't understand why. And she didn't have that intention of making people upset, but it just happened, and she didn't understand why. So she said she would change and be nicer and whatever, but it still kept happening, and then the employees kept going in and out of her office. So she didn't understand what was going on. And so she said, I feel like I'm misunderstood. People don't understand me. I don't get it. I thought I was being a good leader. Um, what's going on? What do I do?" And that's, I think, very common, very common to see physicians like that. And so it wasn't until somebody actually told her that, "You know what? All the employees are afraid of you." And she's like, "What? What do you mean they're afraid of me?" Well, they don't they she would the office manager would come to her and say, you know, "Sharon wants to take vacation in January, on this week. Is that okay with you?" I'm like, "Well, why doesn't Sharon ask me?" "Because she's afraid of you, Dr. Ko." And I'm gonna tell you, this was me. This was me. They said, "Dr. Ko, everyone's afraid of you." And I'm like, "What do you mean everyone's afraid of me? What did I do? What did I say? I didn't, I'm like a nice person." Uh, what a freaking shock, you know? And I was so scared. And you know what? I think because I was scared being a leader, it came across as I was being mean. My insecurity came out as a command and control person because I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to get employees to listen to me. I didn't know. I mean, I was a nice friend. I'm a nice daughter. Um, I would do anything for somebody that I really cared about. But my focus was all on the patients because that's what I knew. I didn't focus on my employees. I didn't focus on their well-being. I just said they need to do what I say because I'm the doctor. And boy, it was a shock that I made each and every person cry in my office, I was told at a Christmas party. And that is why I ended up forming lead physician because I learned so much from that point in my life. And that was 2009. So that was 12 years ago. And I started on this journey of changing myself. And I realized that we just never got the chance to learn some of these skills, and not just skills in people skills. People skills is probably, I would say, 80% of it, because when you have people skills, you can, your company, your office, your practice, your business is all about the people that you bring on, the right kind of people, and the people you retain, and the people who help you help your patients. So I started studying very, very hard from that moment, to the point where I was listening to CDs. If any of you guys ever listened to CDs, that was the day of CDs, and I actually they didn't have Audible at that time. And I would listen to that every day to work, every day, something on leadership. And I also listened to Think and Grow Rich, which is by Napoleon Hill. And then things started to change slowly, slowly. So I started to set intentions. So what I'm saying to you is, when you start setting intentions and you shift your mind and you say, "You know what, this time I'm going to, I don't need to stay in this spot that I'm in right now. I don't need to I don't need to I'm not defined by my past. I'm going to create a new future." And so what did I do? So starting from those those audibles, so to speak, on CD, I started listening every day, and I listened to Joel Osteen too. Um, I started listening to so many Hay House. I don't know if you guys know Hay House. I would buy their entire series and listen to that. I started reading books. And so what did I learn? Well, the first thing I did was I started to pay attention to how I was acting. I started paying attention to what good leaders were doing. How are they acting? How do they get how do they get on stage and get people to really like them? I noticed people getting on stage and being so humble. I'm like, wow, they're so humble. I've never seen anyone like that. And they weren't a physician. It was an executive. It was the CEO of the company. And he said, um, he said something self-deprecating. I'm like, what the heck? He got respect for that. And and then I started to create goals because I realized that I need to create goals. I learned that from that book. How do I create goals? So my goal was to not only have a better work environment, because I wasn't even happy going to work because it was even not a friendly environment that I created. People were not happy in my office. And I wanted to create that right work environment. I wanted to create a business that was thriving. Um, I wanted to be closer to home. So I started writing these things down. I didn't want to travel 45 minutes to an hour each way every day to go to work. I had little children at home. So I started saying things as if it's already happened. This sounds so weird, but so I said, I, and this is what I want you to do. I am so happy and grateful now that I have an office within 10 minutes of my house. I kept saying that over and over. In fact, I got on the radio because there's a Christian radio station, even though I believe in multiple things in religion, that's another thing. On Fridays at 8 a.m., you can record yourself saying something, I believe. I said, I believe. So instead of saying I'm happy and grateful, I said, I believe that I have an office um, close to my house, and it takes me just minutes to get there. So I said that. I got on, I called multiple times. Well, I know you're not supposed to be doing this when I was driving to work, and they recorded me. And they said, "Okay, Elsie, we know you're gonna be able to do that." And at 8 a.m., I listened to the radio. I was at work and I was listening to the radio and I heard myself say that. And it was just like it started becoming ingrained in my head. And so what happened was, this is just true story. What happened was, I got a phone call from my husband who said, "I found an office that I wanna work where I wanna buy this building to work in, but I have a 4 years on my lease still, and I don't know how to get out of it because I need to find somebody to work in my office." And I thought, "Ding." I already had it in my mind, right, that I wanna be close to work, and that's 8 minutes from our house. And I said, "Well, you know what? I can work in that office. I can work in that office." So, so I called my CEO and I asked him, "Do you think we can form another office in this location in Verona?" And he says, "Well, let me check it out." He didn't say no, let me check it out. So a couple weeks went by, nothing happened. And then I and then I called him again because I learned to be persistent. That's not me, but I learned from all these things that I was reading. And I called him again. I said, "Did you get a chance to check out the office yet?" And and he goes, "No, but I will." And so he ended up going. And he called me later and said, "I think that we can do it." Bam. That was my that was my second office. So this is so crucial to your success, is to know that you're not where you are right now is not where you're going to be the end of next year. You're going to create your goal for this year. And then I would say create a goal for the mid and long term. What is my long-term goal right now in my mind? And that might change, but what is my goal for this year just to get to that long-term goal? So I like to put it in chunks. I said for the 12 months, this is what I want to have happen. 3 to 5 years, this is where I see it happening, and then 5 to 10 years. Okay? If you want to go longer than that, that's fine, but you need to start somewhere, and that's can really, really be helpful. So and then I started to learn about relationships. We didn't learn this, but building relationships, having that skill to communicate in a way that really touches people, um, builds trust, gets people aligned, creates the right kind of culture, um, allows a feedback loop so that they're not only accountable to you, but you're accountable to them. Slowly, I started to change in that way. And it's not about being a soft leader at all. It's about still being a very courageous and confident and strong leader, but you have the respect of your employees because you know something about them. You show them appreciation, and yet you can give the feedback that you need. And you learn these little skills of how to give feedback to people in a way that's not going to turn them away. And if you have to turn them away, that's another story. You have to fire somebody. But if you want to keep them, you need to give feedback in the right way. Okay. So that is a skill. The other skill that physicians need to learn is, networking, using that same skill, networking with people, finding out what it is that they're doing that has made them successful. And people are willing to talk about it if you reach out to them. I mean, I'm amazed. I mean, I'm not amazed. I know this happens because I reach out to people for my podcasts, and I constantly push the envelope thinking, a part of me says, oh, they'll never want to be on my podcast, especially when I started. Um, but you'd be amazed that people will say yes to you. So, learning that skill of how to, and I'm going to show you some pictures because I this together. There's a conference coming up, and I think maybe today's the last day to sign up. I'm not sure, but Women Physicians Wellness Conference by Erica Howe. Sign up for this conference. I'm going to give a talk on how to make friends and influence people as a physician. There's a great book by Dale Carnegie who wrote that book, and I'm putting a physician's twist on it. How do you make friends and influence people as a physician? How do you get people to listen to what you have to say? Right? And people say, oh, you just need to listen more. You need to listen more. But many of us listen to reply and not listen to understand. You need to understand where the other person's coming from and be more interested in them than in what you have to say, so that you can shape what you have to say to fit what they want, right? So if you're trying to negotiate something where you need their help, then it's really important to learn these skills. So the other thing that people need to learn, and like besides networking, is once you form that goal, networking, and then learning how to create that strategy, and then a timeline for yourself of when you're going to accomplish it, so that you really are intentional. Because otherwise, everything gets lost in the shuffle of everything that we're doing, and we're so busy in what we're doing, right? That we're gonna forget what we need to do. And I would say that I intentionally say, what are the 3 things that I can do today? What are the 3 things that I can do today to make sure that I get towards my big goal? Even if it's a small thing, and I'll write it down. So in the morning, you could start your day off with a gratitude journal of what you're grateful for. You can look at your goal statement that you've put together and then say, what are the 3 things that I'm going to do today to get to my goal? And then that's how things start unfolding. Otherwise, you're going about your day doing everything unintentionally. And then, how many leaders have I met who, especially who are physicians, who unintentionally came upon this leadership role? And it shouldn't be that way. And when you're intentional about it, you can accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish, and whatever role you want to be, um, wherever you want to go, however you want to live. You create that intention. You find that passion that you want. Dr. Myers today talked about how only 1% of people actually bring their product to market and make $1 million off of it, and 0.4% make it over 10 million. But I would challenge that a little bit, Dr. Myers, because I think we can. The reason why that happens and why the statistics are so bad is that most people don't know the power of intention. People don't know about uh, persistence and strategy and creating the right goals. I know of a person, and I'm going to ask him if he can come on my podcast, but I know of a person who brought 5 products, 5 devices to major wins. I mean, the only 5 he's worked on, I think. Or maybe he worked, I don't know. I didn't hear about his failures, and I'm gonna talk to him about it. But 5 freaking products, and all he would, and he's not a physician. He's in marketing, and what he did was he asked, I mean, he brought on physicians, so they all won, okay? But he asked them, "What is the biggest problem you're trying to solve? What is the biggest problem in your field where you think that if we can solve that, you know, um, it would be a game changer for patients, providers, everyone?" He didn't ask them, what are the solutions that you're thinking about to solve something? He said, what are the problems? And Dr. Myers did talk about that we need to be problem seekers, not solution seekers. Okay, so learning these specific skills, and I would go listen to that. I'm gonna be putting that on my podcast next Sunday. Um, Next Sunday at 10 a.m. Tomorrow, I'm going to be talking with a physician who's a women coach and leadership coach. We're going to talk about why coaching helps women physicians to be better leaders. So come and listen to that as well. So, and then I'll put a link to my YouTube channel on here, so you can just go on there and listen to all of the podcasts that I have put on so far, and I'm close to 100 now, which I'm really amazed that I got to that point, because it does take a lot of work, right? So I put it down. Let's see, did I even write it down on here? So let me write it down for you, because I have it so that it's easier to get to. It's bit.ly/Dr. Co videos. And we have physician entrepreneurs, physician leaders, authors, people who are head of organizations, people who are creating new businesses, solutions to problems. Um, Come listen to those and subscribe and listen to those videos, and you'll automatically get an alert when a new one comes, so you don't have to be there on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to listen. Okay. I see. I have some other pictures I want to show you. Okay. So I learned so much from Bob Proctor and Mary Morrissey. Mary Morrissey is, she's a thought leader. And I don't have a picture of Bob Proctor on here, but they changed my life. And there was like hardly any physicians there, because I don't think physicians would buy into a lot of this thinking. But it's really our minds control our thinking, and our thinking controls our actions and our feelings, right? And our actions control the results that we get. because what happens is we take action on things that we believe in, and then people react to it. So when I reach out to someone and I was like, "I would love to join your platform, Dr. Myers," and he says, "Yes, come join us and maybe give a talk." And when I take action, because I'm now courageous, I have this in my mind, I already have a vision of what I want, and then things start happening. And that's what I'm telling you, like, we need to stop thinking that this is all there is and I've reached my pinnacle, and, yeah, I'm a doctor now, I'm an attending and I'm practicing, but that's not all that is meant for you. Your potential, and studies show that we only reach about 10% of our potential. And there's so much more to you than you might even imagine that you could even reach. And that's how I help people. I help people to dream much bigger than they have for themselves. And then I give them a strategy and how I've done it. And because I would not be here today. And the other thing is, as to be a successful leader, is not only to learn that what I need to do this year needs to be different from last year. Not only that, but we need to challenge ourselves in other ways. But at the same time, we need to take care of our bodies and our mind. We need to learn how to set boundaries. That's something we also teach, is how do we manage our schedule. We can't manage our time, so to speak, and it's a misnomer to say time management, because we all have only 24 hours. And we all have 24 hours. And it's what we do with it and how we're focused. And I'm working on that. Believe me, Christina Shenvi is on our faculty. She talks about time management. She has her own time management course, and she talks about it with uh, with my clients. And so, for me, my intention this year for peace of mind is to get more involved in what my father and my parents, and my grandparents, and my aunts and uncles have been involved with, is the New Age Buddhism. Um, here's my father and my nephew bowing, but there's a retreat center in Claverlack, New York, that I'm interested in going to, and you sit there, and when you meditate among other people, it's so different than when you're meditating alone. So take caring of your body and being very focused with your calendar. When you write, I'm going to show you some more pictures, but when you write down your goals, it could be look like this, and this is how crazy it can get. You write down, and in stream of consciousness, take the time of all the thoughts of all the things that are in your mind, down on paper, and you start organizing your thoughts of where you want to go. And then you start taking action. When you start taking action, I realizing that I can be at the forefront of medicine in my field, that I can do these procedures that I've never done before. And I traveled to Paris because I invited myself. You can invite yourself. And then I saw, my colleagues looked at me and said, I could do that too. And I could be a consultant for a device company too. And I never thought of that. So I thought, well, that's interesting. I can do that. And the same thing for my kids. My kids, I was on a plane, and I just so happened to sit next to Bobby Brown, and I didn't know that was her, and we just started having a conversation, and talking to her about life, about what she's writing and what I'm reading, and then she says, "By the way, I'm Bobby Brown," and I'm like, "Wait, you're Bobby Brown?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm Bobby Brown." And next thing you know, I'm talking about my daughter, and they are very similar in their background. And she said, "Oh, have your daughter come and see me, and maybe she could do an internship or whatever." So, anyways, I reached out. She gave me her card, and I reached out, and next thing you know, my daughter had a photo shoot with Bobby Brown. So it's amazing how we can create our lives to be so much different than what we thought we can do. So I challenge you. And the Wright brothers, I love this story. I don't know if you know the Wright brothers, but they were bicycle mechanics, and they, at the turn of the century, they're the ones who created the first airplane that actually flew in the sky. And people will question you when you start creating this massive goal. I wouldn't share it with everybody. Don't share it with everyone. Maybe you trust your spouse, maybe you don't. Maybe you trust you can share it with someone, but if they don't be surprised when they poo-poo it, okay? Don't, be surprised if somebody says you can't do that. So you need to surround yourself with the right people to help you with that massive goal of yours, because not everyone's going to be supportive, and that's okay. You find the right people to surround yourself, and that's what's called a mastermind. A mastermind is a group of people who come together for the purposes of helping each other thrive, and that's what we do at Lead Physician, okay? And what I would like to tell you guys is if this any of this resonates with you and you want to be a part of a mastermind that's going to help you with your goal and get you to the next step, have you network with the right kind of people, introduce you to the right places to go, you need to join us because I would love to hear from you. And it's meant for people who are very driven in this way, who think in this way, who are open-minded to change and growth. And I want you to join me at go to leadphysician.org, and you can reach out to me on my email info at drlcco.com, and we can set up a call. And I do have a Calendly link that I can show you. But if you reach out to me and we start on January 10, then we could talk about what you're trying to accomplish. And remember, there's a money back guarantee and it's rare for someone to back out. And I have data now, which I'm going to be putting out later of people's results, and there's a statistically significant change in what people have been able to accomplish. Okay, and anywhere from their personal and professional goals. And this is leadership coaching, but this is also life coaching. This is about how to put it all together in one package so that you're really um, making a change and a difference in the way you're living, in the way you're getting results to happen, in the way your finances are going, in the way you're paying off your finances, the way you're dealing with the boundaries and loss of boundaries, the way you're, really just being creating a happier life. And when you're living more from the inside out instead of the outside in, meaning you realize that I can take control of how I react to people and how I react to situations, and I can take control of my own life so I can live the life that I really love living. Then the world changes around you, and because through your own eyes, and everyone else around you who love you change too. They learn from you. So it's a domino effect. That's what I love about this. I love about being creating Lead Physician, which I want to continue growing. And if you want to be a part of this growth, I would love that because I can't do this alone. I've already recruited Dr. Pam Ludmore, who's amazing, amazing, amazing physician coach, and she's also a divorce coach. She's now my co-director for Lead Physician, and I would love to see more of coaches out there to join me in this initiative. What I do ask is that if you're interested in being part of that, I would ask you to go through my program because, it'll all come back to you if you want to join, because then you understand how to teach it. Okay, because I want you to be the person to lead the sessions with me. So calendly.com/Dr. Coco Co. And my intention is to grow this to an organizational level. And I've had talks with the global CMO of a large company, and they're very interested in having physician leadership development in their program. And I had a physician in my own organization asking, why can't we incorporate this into our own organization? So that's something that I'm going to be doing. And now I'm also thinking about, I'm constantly thinking about change, right? It's not just static. Lead Physician's not static. Every time there's a new iteration, it's more growth. And people have said, "Oh, Elsie, I see that you've really blossomed," but I don't think I blossomed. I just scratched the surface, and I want it to grow into a much more massive platform as it goes along to help organizations and help doctors maybe podiatrists and dentists who need help as well, providers in general, and then have an arm to help healthcare workers in general. But my passion really comes down to physicians because I had my own personal struggles with this. That's why I put it together. And what it is, it's a 4-month program where you're not going to have homework, but you're going to have application to your life. So you're going to learn something on a video that I've already recorded. This whole course is already recorded that you listen on your own time. But when you come together each week, every Monday, we're going to come together, and you don't, if you can't make it because you're on call, that's okay. It's recorded. And what you do is you listen to this, and your homework is to apply what you learn to your life. So it's experiential learning, and then the learnings, and I've gone over this with Pam, is to have more of an interactive learning among the group so that you really get a lot out of it, more than just me sitting here telling you what you're supposed to learn. Okay? Because that's the only way it's going to work. So it's not like getting an MBA or a master's in healthcare or whatever. It's about learning new skills in ways that you never thought of before. So that, and then I have office hours every other Monday for you to come with me with your individual needs. And if no one shows up, no one shows up. But if you're the only one shows up, then I'll have a one-on-one with you. And each person does get 4 one-on-ones, which is the first time I'm really intentionally adding. And we're going to put you through this whole like life-changing event that's going to jumpstart you to another way of thinking, that really makes sense. So you really start living a life that you really love. Okay. And anyways, I hope this helped you in some way. Um, there's a bunch of videos. Please listen to that on here. This goes straight to my YouTube, and I am on LinkedIn. But we on my personal LinkedIn is when I do the lives every Sunday. And if you also have a topic that you want to talk about, reach out to me. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking with Asha on female leadership. So thank you so much for listening, everybody. Let me see the comments here. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, you love Pamela Woodmore. That's great. Yes, she's amazing. People tell me like when I have her on lives and our videos that we put together, that they really got a lot out of it. Now I did the last podcast I did, if you look on YouTube, was with her on how to have nonviolent communication. How to have nonviolent communication. How to, like, when you're about to you're like in a conflict, how to make sure it doesn't go violent so that you can be productive. You have something that comes out of it. And so you're speaking in a way that allows for an effective result, right? Instead of just two people getting pissed off at each other and they never want to talk to each other again and nothing gets accomplished. That's the point of nonviolent communication. And yeah, we only reach 10% of our potential. That's right. It's crazy, right? So you have so much more in you than you can even imagine. I have people saying like, Elsie, I never thought that I could even do this. I never thought. And next thing you know, they have a brand. Or I had one person say to me, Elsie, I feel like my brain is on fire. Why didn't anyone teach me this before? So these are like, I just want to, those who join, I just want to make sure that you have that open mind, that you're ready. You have to be ready for it, right? When you're ready, the teacher will come. And if you're watching this for a reason, and I'm also a Bob Proctor Gallagher consultant, which means I have access to all of his teachings. So if you're interested in any of that, I would be happy to point you in the right direction. I'm also an ICF member, which means I'm in the process of getting accreditation. And that's the reason why I do all that is because I want to be the best that I can be in what I'm doing. So when you choose something that you want to do, when you find out what your dream goal is, I challenge you to be the best that you can be, that you're irreplaceable, that you offer something that's so different, that you are bound for success. Okay? Thank you everyone for listening. I appreciate it, and have a wonderful New Year day. Set your intentions and start writing out that journal, and reach out to me and share with me what your goals are. I'd be interested in hearing some feedback and if this helped you at all. All right, take care.